Hello. I am so excited that you're here today. I'm Dr. Helen, founder and chief engagement officer of Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, and your host for Dr. Helen Speaks: Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. Welcome to the show. Well, today my fellow colleague, Coach Denise, is back with us to join the conversation about coaching. We're going to be talking today about what coaching is, some of what it's not. Uh, you know, we both coach leaders, women like you, because we have a shared passion for coaching and for helping women to develop. As a strengths, resilience, and leadership coach, I take a stand for women leaders like you who show up here because you want more for your life, your career, and your leadership. Our goal is to gear you up to grab your greatness, and gain your gold goddess status. That's right. We want you to be all of that and a bag of chips, that same bag of chips that you know yourself to be. Each week, we'll explore topics to uncover, discover, and unpack ways for you to leverage your strengths, the best of who you are, understand and manage your weaknesses. We all have them, and keep you going and giving in the face of your adversities, those inner critics that come after you, the gremlins. Using my innovative system with proven results will work to increase your performance, productivity, and prosperity potential. That's a much nicer way of saying profits, but you know what I mean. It's the bottom line that makes a business successful. So as your host, mentor, coach, and convener of leaders, we'll talk about how you can maximize and optimize your leadership. Do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? I do, and I love it. And I want that for you. That's why I just keep showing up week after week after week. One of the most effective ways to make that happen is to deepen your EF. Wondering what EF is? Let me tell you. It's your engagement factor. It's the ability to develop yourself to become your own personal, unique path to have more of what you really want for your life. After years of learning, failing, giving up, and starting over, I realized that when you know what you believe, what you know is true about you, that life purpose, that thing that draws you to get up every morning and know that you're here for a reason, success will happen. Now, delayed does not mean denied, and I'm a witness of it. On this journey of life, you'll hit highs and lows. And like the stock market, as long as you're invested, your investment will keep growing and growing and growing. Our goal is to put you on your path to live your best life ever and help you stick with it, receive and achieve it on your terms. So Dr. Helen Speaks is here live on winwinwomen.tv network every Tuesday, 10 a.m. p.m. and which is really 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. There you go. Those time zones, geography, never been my sweet spot. But you can also catch this show on Roku TV and very soon Amazon Fire and Apple TV. Well, I invite you to follow me on LinkedIn at Dr. Helen Holton, where you can keep up with what's happening with Dr. Helen Speaks, going live there very soon. Stay tuned. Now, we'll share with you from the wisdom of lessons learned, lived experiences, and earned expertise from women leaders like you. We're here to ignite your spark or fuel your flame that maybe just needs a little, let's get it going. Because we want you to be able to think, do, and be what you envision for your life. And it's our opportunity to pay it forward through you. We're here to talk strengths, resilience, and leadership, or as I call it, Strenzilient leadership. It really is a thing. We begin each show with an attitude of gratitude. Thank you, Paula Fellingham, founder, visionary leader, and dream weaver of the Win-Win Women Network, driven by a purpose to connect billions of women across the globe to learn, grow, share, motivate, and inspire each other's success while creating a connected global community. Now, how powerful is that? I'm just excited to be a part of it. And you know what? Engagement is the glue. It makes life happen deeper and wider. It keeps you connected. Engagement is about how we relate to each other. It's embodied in how we live life from day to day. It lives at the core, the very heart of everything we do, even with ourselves. So before we jump in, grab your note-taking device, pen and paper, tablet, computer. We want you to capture those notable nuggets of wisdom, insight, and aha moments that inform, educate, and empower you. We don't want you to miss anything. And just in case you do, you can always catch the replay. You ready to go? Great. We are too. Let's do it. Our topic today is what's the big deal about coaching? Let's begin with a little history. Coaching actually dates back to ancient Greek philosophy, the most familiar method of coaching. Well, for me, it's the Socratic method, which is credited to Socrates. And it was Plato who inspired Socrates in his methodology. Denise and I, we both come from that Socratic school of thought. We work with our clients to help you stimulate your own critical thinking to find the answers that are best for you. And how do we do that? We help you go deep within yourself by asking powerful questions that come from our active listening to what it is you have to say. Moving forward through time to 1830, it was on the campus of Oxford University that the term coach became a slang term for a tutor who would carry a student through an exam. Now, I've studied at Oxford University a time or two, and they have a really different way of learning across the pond than we here do in the US. But nonetheless, it's the distinction, minimizing, technology, the ever evolving world in which we live, that's made it so much easier these days. But it was Thomas Leonard, an American financial planner, who was the first person to develop the concept of life coaching as a profession in the 80s. His clients loved the financial advice they were getting from him. He was a financial planner, and yet they wanted more. They wanted help in organizing, planning, and achieving other goals in life. His career shifted, and he became a professional life planner. Fancy that. Driven by his passion and pursuit to meet the needs of people wanting more, he stumbled onto something new in terms of his life purpose. He's the founder of Coach University, the very first formal training for coaches, and one of the founding people behind the International Coaching Federation, that today is still the world premiere of coaching training. Well, they don't train, but accrediting, certifying to help us do what we do with excellence. Don't wait. Do life now. Now. What are you waiting for? Coach Denise, what is this thing called coaching that we wake up to every day, full of life, vitality, and excitement to work with women to bring their best self forward in pursuit of their dreams? Where do we go from here?
Well, listen, Dr. Helen, first of all, thank you for having me on, but I'm still stuck on figuring out how I can get my gold goddess status. I love that.
Hey.
I really do. The thing with coaching is it's really a way to help women in particular unleash their potential, get outside of their comfort zones. Sometimes it's really about having a different perspective. And a really good coach can be a catalyst to help you, and you know that as well as I do, move from point A to point B. Sometimes I like to say that it's about taking the express train instead of
Mm,
the local, because coaching really helps you to get to that destination so much faster.
it does. It gets you there faster, but it's not an overnight.
Oh, no, it's absolutely a process, 100%. But the thing with coaching is it really helps you to understand, who you are and how you can take a look at yourself. And
Yeah.
it helps you to gain that clarity that so often we're missing in terms of what do we want?
What is the saying? It's like, oh, I can't see the forest. There are all these trees in my way.
Yeah,
So in some respect, it's helping women to see beyond the trees, to see there's something so much bigger and
right.
greater
Yeah,
than, like being in the weeds.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a way to gain clarity, and also to have someone who is, I like to call myself a thought partner, right? I mean, because when I'm coaching, it's not about me finding the answer. It's really about how we together can help you find what you're looking for, help you in that process of searching, right? And also the idea of looking at things from a whole brand new perspective,
Mhm.
and the ability to think bigger.
Yes, yes. It's like the eagle's eye view. A eagle that flies very, very high and has such a broader perspective
Yes.
of all the things that can impact and influence how high that eagle soars.
Yeah.
It's really pretty awesome and fascinating. I think it's also important, coach today, 20 years ago, who heard about a life coach or coach period? If someone said coach, you're like, oh, what sport are they playing?
Right.
You
So
know,
true. We've come a
and
long way.
though, and we've come a long way. We
Yeah.
really have. And in that process, I think, it's important for people to also understand, what do you look for in a coach? You know, start out saying a coach isn't a therapist,
No.
and there are times in life I've had to have that conversation, that courageous conversation with a client, not to harm them, but to help them, because I
Mhm.
want them to have the best of what it is they need. And I'm no therapist.
Yeah.
And so if it means going down that path to help them, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I tell you what, Dr. Helen, coaching is also not consulting,
Mhm.
right? And I do a lot of consultative work, and it's a very different field. When you're consulting, people are paying you to give them the answers.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a huge difference. But when you are coaching someone, you go into it with the belief that they already have all the answers that they need. They are smart and powerful in their own right,
Mhm.
and perhaps have just met up with a bump in the road and need some support, right? Getting beyond that bump.
Oh, yeah. Those are what I call life's distractions, detours,
Yep.
those things that get in the way
Yeah.
of us really going for what we want, that inner critic that
Mhm.
lives within each of us.
Or the
I,
saboteur. The
well,
saboteur
same
that
difference. I realize you saying that French term, it's easy to call that inner critic. They're one and the
saboteur.
same. The saboteur. I love French, so it's like, oh yes, that's so Frenchy, that's so, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But I would
but
tell you what, whenever women step into a leadership position, it takes courage, it takes grit, it takes motivation, and it also takes a lot of emotional intelligence.
mhm,
And today, there are so many competing demands, again, for women in particular who are, in the office managing teams, or maybe you're an independent contributor, but you've got a home that you're overseeing, you have a family, you may have an elderly parent, you may have a spouse who lost their job or isn't working in the moment. There's so many different things that are going on that oftentimes, when women work with coaches, that's a space where they get to kind of woo-saw
Mhm.
right? And bring it down a few notches. And it's an opportunity to be in a safe space. It's judgment free, free of criticism, if you will, just to be able to think clearly and begin to create a plan for yourself and start working on your own personal goals and
Mhm.
really beginning to identify what type of life do you want to need? Do you want to live? And what do you need to do that you don't necessarily have in the moment?
But and I love that. And one thing that you were sharing is you got courage, yes, but you know what goes very nicely with that courage is confidence.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Confidence to know that what you want is achievable. And
Mhm.
you've got to feel that in here,
Yeah.
deep inside, in order to even get to the place where you open yourself up to having a coach, someone to walk this journey, not to tell you what to do, but to be that place where you can come to
Mhm.
and really say what you really feel.
Mhm.
And with a place that you're going to get not feedback, but feed forward.
Feet forward. I love that. And I
Uh,
think the other thing too, Dr. Helen, that I want to add, because I think it's just so important, is that confidence is a muscle. And like any other muscle, you have to constantly exercise it. You have to work it out. And the thing with confidence is the more that you put yourself out there and try new things and find yourself winning, the more your confidence grows,
mhm.
right?
It
And
does.
that's a big part of the coaching process, is really helping women to gain more confidence and to see themselves in a position where you're willing to bet on yourself, because that's everything.
Well, it's what I say when I say to leverage your strengths. I have to tell most people know, but if you don't know, you'll know now. I have a bias towards Gallup's Clifton Strengths Assessment. I just think it is a phenomenal tool.
It
Okay,
is.
yes, it was life altering for me, but in such a powerful and meaningful way, I had to go back and say, let me take a deeper look at this. Now,
Mhm.
I'm an assessment junkie, so over the decades, I've been through quite a few. And this was one that was so holistic for me, which for me, connectedness being my number one, I see everything connected. But out of that, every client I encounter, I already see them as whole and complete,
Yes. Mhm.
that nothing wrong with them,
Right.
stuck, you know, got that inner critic, or whatever in the way of their greatness.
Yeah.
So I just love it. Yes.
The
Yes.
beautiful thing with Strengths Finders, and there are 34
Clifton
strengths.
Strengths. And I have to say that.
Clifton
Change
Strengths.
the name.
Okay, thank you. There are a total of 34 strengths, but typically I focus on the top 5. You can get the assessment that'll give you just the top 5 because those are the most dominant. But when you know what your strengths are, you're so much more powerful because you can begin to leverage those strengths.
Mhm.
Conversely, sometimes when women start to look at what these strengths are that are coming up for them, they begin to recognize that, you know what, I'm not necessarily using these strengths in the position that I'm in,
Mhm.
right?
Well, yeah.
And that opens up a whole nother door for women to begin to think about, okay, am I in the right job? And if I am in the right job, what are some other opportunities that I can leverage using these strengths that I know that I have that are true for me?
Mhm.
And that's a game changer.
It is. And I gotta go, I gotta go deep with Gallup,
Okay.
being that I'm certified coach and trainer with Gallup, it's like, wow. And having them as a client was like, OMG. So I love the philosophy of Gallup. And for me, depending upon where people are, if they really aren't aware of the greatness they have, I take them through the top 5. And then I come back with the full 34. I want my clients to know those things that you may be working to be the best at and not knowing how to leverage the best of who you really are
Mhm.
through some other things, so that you aren't saying, but I really want this, and looking at, you have that through other ways of being.
Dr. Helen, I'm curious, what have you found to be really the difference in terms of knowing your strengths, particularly in the workplace? Have you had some opportunities that you can maybe talk about, where when you know what you're really good at, you can leverage that in terms of your professional growth and development?
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, I had a client come to me for one thing. And as we began the process, and I really don't, you know, coaching is a process.
Right.
So I really like a 6-month commitment. That's where you can really see the progress and growth. Now, you can do it in shorter time periods, but the point is, you got to really spend some time with it.
Mhm.
And this comes back to seeing a person as naturally whole and complete already. Sometimes we don't know what's blocking us from being all that we can be. And that's okay to not know. Coaching helps you to understand all of who you are in ways in which you naturally think, feel, and behave. That it's like, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. And so that you then begin to consciously focus your time and energy to really becoming intimately involved with it. And I love, it's called the Clifton Strengths, but Denise, like I do, those 34 talent themes
Yeah.
is what they are.
Yeah.
You have to invest in them. You can't just take the assessment and think, oh, yeah, here's my top 5 and put them in your email signature, if you've not spent time understanding how you show up in those ways.
Yeah.
And repetition is the motherhood of all learning. When we don't take time to really understand what it means to me personally, or you personally, the greatest value is being missed.
Yeah.
So it's not becoming a strength. It's a talent theme. It is the most prominent, it's a higher level of ability, skill, insight, knowledge that you have that you're not exercising to really upshift your success.
And I do think that that's part of what my question was around, the value in understanding what your strengths are and how you can use that to develop yourself from a professional perspective, the types of projects that you may want to ask for in the workplace, the way that you are communicating, how others see you. All of those things I think are aligned with knowing what your strengths are. But even beyond that, it's the ability to know yourself and put yourself into the best environment that fits who you are, right? I mean, if
Absolutely.
you are someone who, like for me, I have very high interpersonal. I think that's number one, relator for me,
Mhm.
right? So I like to be in environments where I can work with a team, where I can work with other people, and where I can influence. Conversely, if I was working in a library, where I wasn't able to see a lot of people and speak to a lot of people and use my influence skills, I may not be at my best every day. And so that's why I was sort of bringing that up, is really to say, the more you know about who you are and what your strengths are, the more you'll be able to find opportunities, whether they are professional or personal, that really fit who you are.
And you know what? As I was listening, I'm like, this is why I love coaching.
Yeah.
I have coaches, and it's that opportunity to really look at who you are in a way that, as women, life doesn't always make us feel comfortable in doing that, in living our most authentic self,
Yeah.
unapologetically, and owning it. You know, I love it. I love it. And it's so true. The shifts I've seen occur in the lives of other people as a result of coaching is just phenomenal. It's humbling. It really is.
It's a reflective process.
Mhm.
There's no doubt about it. It really is a reflective process.
It is. It is. And Denise, I love how we work together. And I'm saying, maybe Denise should be on here like once a month so we can really do this. Because at the end of the day, it's what we do every day.
Yeah, it is.
And it's such an incredible way of paying it forward for being able to do what we love doing.
And to see the impact. That's what I love about it, is to see the impact.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. When I see clients really move into a place and space that they've talked about and gone into the dark places of. And if you aren't willing to go into the dark places, how can you appreciate what's on the other side?
Yeah.
And it deepens you.
Oh, it does. It's also the ability to take small, actionable steps that really allow you to make some big progress.
Yes, yes. And I think that's the greatest joy for me, because sometimes I've seen it happen with my own challenges and places of being stuck, but I've also seen it happen a lot on a daily basis, where people have those aha moments about greatness.
Yeah.
That's already in you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Do I sound really excited?
You do.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, I got goosebumps because I just love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
To experience the joy and success of other people because they went for themselves. They went for what they wanted in life.
Yeah.
They
bet on themselves.
They bet on themselves.
Right.
That's the payoff. That's the payoff.
Well, Dr. Helen, you are in your zone of genius, and you know what? It's really it's contagious, because I feel the very same way, and I love your enthusiasm and your effusiveness about coaching, because it really is a game changer. I've had several myself, wouldn't be where I am today without them. So thank you for talking about this. I think it will really make a huge impact for so many people. Thank you.
Well, it's one of the things I love about this organism. Win-win women. Oh my God, win-win women. It is so empowering.
Yeah.
And to be a part of supporting my sisters around the globe for who they are and who they aspire to be, because they come here because they want more.
Yeah.
More of what's in store.
Yeah.
And it begins with you. You already know it. I just want to help you find it and bring it out. Yeah.
The well runs deep.
The well runs deep. I want to put this out there to you. So on your note-taking device, I want you to write down this question. Ready? Do you have the chance to do what you do best every day? What you do best every day. Do you have the chance to do what you do best every day? If you do, woohoo! I love it. That's great. It's something we share in common. And if you've picked up a few nuggets to stretch and grow just a little more or a whole lot by taking action on something you've heard today, I can't wait. You'll be feeling like I'm feeling now. Now, if you're not quite sure, that's okay. Not to worry. Our goal is to help you get there. Keep coming back. We got more for you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm living my best life ever, and I want that for you too. Join Dr. Helen Speaks, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership here on WinWinWomen.tv every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time and 1 p.m. Eastern time. And together, we'll work to help you live your best life ever. doing what you do best every day. See you next week.